Uh-oh. My throat is burning.
Still?
It just now started.
I was gonna say, you still don't
drink
feel
that
better?
vitamin C. How you feeling?
Y'all still don't
I
feel
feel a
better?
little bit better. When I'm drinking it, it stops my cough at least. Oh, I never coughed in the first place.
Oh, wow. You think you're better than us?
Oh,
I thought your throat was on fire.
You think you're better than me?
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Our podcast.
Yeah, both. Same thing.
For people that watch on listen on Spotify.
this is Hermella on the block speaking. Sorry.
She got carried away. Go ahead.
That's it. I was done.
Take it away.
That's it. I was done on China.
Didn't she just say she stopped coughing?
Liar. Vitamin
All right, calm down. Gabs, they're trying to knock you.
That's what I'm saying.
Start.
It works, y'all. It works.
Sure.
I'm still a little sick, but for those of you
Yeah, I am
wondering,
too.
I am feeling better.
They weren't.
No one
Nobody
asked.
was asking.
No one asked.
So today we'll be talking about the struggles of being an immigrant kid because as
What
most
this
of you guys
podcast
know,
is about, really.
No, really, this whole podcast is dedicated to the immigrant kids.
Yes.
Because growing up as Ethiopian, I want to say American, but some people don't claim it. I don't either, but we live in America, so let's just say that.
lying.
Shut up! I don't want to be American. Okay?
See? She's European. She's European.
Someone's gonna watch this and you're gonna take the passport away from
Oh my
y'all.
god, they're gonna deport us. But anyways,
Deport me!
actually, you're right. You know the person who started GoFundMe? So he was like, "Send me back to my country."
All the
Everybody
white
donated.
people.
Are you
All
serious?
the white people donated.
Scam them.
sad.
Anyways,
I don't care. Deport me.
yeah, take us away.
We say that
Love
because
it.
we're Ethiopian first of all of us.
Yeah.
But we are not all from here. So where are you from? Because we're all from different places.
Okay, so I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, but I did live in Ethiopia for 2 years, so I think that counts.
She wants to claim that
I
so
claim
bad.
that, okay, guys. And then I moved to Charlotte afterwards. So
That's good.
Yeah.
Mela?
I was born and raised in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
They moved here when I was 13.
Yes, Ferlisnes.
Becky.
Oh.
Must know it. Stop with it. Go ahead.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like,
Born and raised in Italy, Rome, Italy.
Colonizer.
And then
colonizer.
both said it the same time.
Except they didn't colonize us.
Okay, didn't colonize
Listen,
us.
I was telling Nani I wanted to get a tattoo right here saying made in Rome, or made in Roma. She was just like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I claim Italy, like,
I would claim it, but
my heart is, I love you guys. But
Does
you guys,
Italy
this
love
episode
you?
is for y'all.
Does
They do.
Italy love you?
They do love me. Just kidding. What, Nani?
I was born and raised Ethiopia, but I came here when I was 7. But I'm still born and raised in Ethiopia.
I
You're
wish
so
I
lucky
was.
to
I don't
say
say. I
that.
wish I was at least like like you. You were raised in Ethiopia for a few
for
years.
years.
Still, like living that life, like, it
Still
was
went to
fun.
school.
I feel like if I didn't go to Ethiopia for 2 years, I would not appreciate my culture as much as I do, and I don't think I would really speak the language either.
I didn't appreciate my culture
In general,
back when I was in Italy because I lived with like my
Makes
people,
sense.
right? Italian.
and like even like small things as like my hair. If it was not straight, it used to be always up. I hated my curly hair. I hated speaking Amharic. I hated just. But now here is different because people that live here, the Habashas here, are not. They love their culture, and I love that. So it makes me appreciate and love my culture more. So that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah. I remember when I came back to Ethiopia, or get back from Ethiopia to America, and I started private school. Someone said my mom did my hair in shurba, like cornrows, and they're like, "You look like you went to prison." I was like, okay. I didn't know that's what the prisoners did.
You learned something.
Huh?
You learned something.
I brought some stuff back from Ethiopia here, and then I quickly learned.
What did you?
You can't
I'm
do
trying to
that.
say, what did I bring?
Like, I brought my accent. I had a very
still
strong
have an
accent. What else? Just like my mannerisms and stuff like that. It was very like sinesrat, very respectful.
Yeah.
And it's to a point where the teachers are like, "What do you want?" Like, it's just like, no, this is just how it was like raised.
Right.
But
No,
yeah.
literally. Yeah, no, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah.
I used to get like note cards from my teachers and stuff saying like, "You're so respectful. Like, I hope you stay like that." Because, like, I remember 8th grade, I think there was, like, a student she was talking about to the teacher. I was like, oh my, you do this? Like, I was crazy. In shock. And I was like, what the, like, I would never do that.
So many different things that from, Ethiopia and then growing up there and here.
Like, the way you treat your parents, the way you talk to your elders, that level of respect, isn't... Not that people are disrespectful here, but it's not ingrained in you. You know what I mean?
And another thing I noticed is, it is here. Because the people, no, I'm not hating, like I said last episode, but when I was in high school, we had a lot of international students. So a lot of the way their mannerisms, I was just like, oh, wow, like, it's very similar. Like, the way they treated, like, their teachers and, like, there was this one, I love him so much. He, like, every time he, like, took a paper from, like, the teacher, he would, like, you know, because, like, that's their culture. Like, I think he's from Korea. But I was just like, wow. And then people would look at him crazy. But in my mind, I was just like, represent. Like, I know.
I don't have the same experience, you guys. Because Italians are more disrespectful. They're very, like... I don't know if this is bad to say, but it's just like the respect level is not the same. And I feel like me having my mom and she will beat me up. So I didn't have that, but Italy, they're not respectful. Like even with their parents,
they see them like, they don't see them as like elders.
Which in a way I was raised like that. Like me and my mom were more like friends.
I agree.
But she at the same time, like she doesn't let me step outside the line. But it's not, at the same time, I wasn't raised as a regular Ethiopian child. So it's kind of different, but respect, some people have respect, it's kind of how you're raised, but it's not all of them. So it's different there.
That makes sense, though, because I feel like you were growing up in two different cultures. You had Italian and Ethiopian.
And then I had to
they're different, but they're similar in their own ways. And then you came here, there's 3 different cultures.
Yeah.
To balance, to maintain.
Yeah.
I guess.
Just too is hard.
Which culture do you feel like you relate to the most?
I feel like I don't even know how to say, but like, because I'm not really Italian now, but I'm too Italian for the Ethiopians and / American.
Yeah.
And then I'm too Ethiopian for the American / Italian. Does that make sense?
I get it.
So I never find myself in a good, even with the language. I feel like one thing I hate is my accent. And my Italian is not good, and I don't know why I keep talking like this. It's coming out. But I don't speak the language good. I don't speak Amarinya bedem, I don't speak English bedem, or I don't speak Italian bedem. I feel like I'm in the middle with all the languages, and that's a struggle, even the way I think.
Definitely, that's so true. I think when you come from one culture and then you come to America or like anywhere else, no matter where you go back to your home country, you still feel like a foreigner. Yeah. Like you don't feel like you fit in anywhere anymore. And I think, like I just wanted to say like it's definitely hard. And I know it's not just a Habesha thing. It's definitely like all immigrant things. Like, and there's never anyone to like tell you, like guide you through that. Like, you know, like you just kind of have to figure it out yourself. And then, but like I feel like anywhere you go.
Do you ever feel like that? Because I feel like what? Whenever you go back to Ethiopia. Because I feel like I don't think you have that problem.
Yeah, you don't seem like, I feel like Hermella fits in everywhere.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think I felt like that when I went to Ethiopia, and I feel too American. I feel like they'll make fun of me, like, ooh, whatever, but I just like laugh it off, and then like we keep it going.
But you feel like
my friends are the same. Like in Ethiopia,
right?
They speak English just like me. Like even the way they act is the same. So I'm like, I don't feel like, you know.
Yeah. I feel like though, like when I was in Ethiopia, they see me as a foreigner.
Definitely.
Like I am Habesha, but I feel like they're like, you're American.
Yeah.
They're not like, I remember one time. Okay, this is my fault. But like me and my cousin were walking on the street and we were talking in English because I don't talk in Amarinya normally. Like I talk to it with the parents. And this random guy came out of nowhere and he was like, Anchi? Like, he was basically like, why are you speaking in Amarinya? This is, English. This is Ethiopia. You should be talking in your native language. Da, da, da. And it caught me off guard. And I was like, okay, maybe like I should make an effort to like, okay, sure, I am American, but I'm still Habesha. I do, but I don't know, like, he just caught me off guard. I was like, why are you pressed? Like, you know,
I feel like you speak it with people that if they don't know how to speak
right
English, you'll just say you speak in Amharic.
Yeah. Like I can, but I don't know. To me, I was like, that just made me felt like an outsider when he said that. But it wasn't intentional. I wasn't purposely.
You know what I struggle with? I feel like, because, you know, how I want to go back to Italy and live there. The one thing that they don't have there is their relationship with God. And you know how it's so important, like, in our culture, like, you have to, like, not you have to, but, like, everyone, we all have a relationship with God, you know what I mean? But I feel like going back, it's so hard because they don't live like that. It's live life, YOLO, you know what I mean? So that kind of scares me because I didn't grow up like that. Like, I grew up, like, going to church, but even my parents were, like, busy with work, so I didn't grow up knowing God. But when I came here, it was different. But then going back, just, that's the struggle, I feel like.
Like, you're worried about that?
Yeah.
Like, when I was in Paris, I had to make an effort to find an American church. And, like, I feel like, yeah, there was one. It was Hillsong, which is popular. Hillsong is, like, well-known in America.
Yeah.
And they would translate the sessions into English, or some of them, they were in English, and they would translate it into French. So I feel like you just have to be proactive about it. Yeah. Because it's not going to be in your face.
But
here,
no
there's
one,
churches
my age,
every state.
people were, our age were?
Yeah, people, like, that were my age. I was surprised. They had Bible study groups and everything. And I was like, this is so cool. I just never thought, because I think Europe is a very non-religious place. Every person you meet is agnostic or atheist, like, proudly, which is, that's their thing, but nobody takes religion serious.
Yeah.
Or at least, not religion, their faith. Like, with their relationship with God.
Yeah. It's kind of how you're raised. It's like, you know? So, they're just... It's not really their fault. I feel like it's just how...
This is how life is.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh, okay, whatever,
so,
type.
Speaking about how you're raised, what's, like, the stupidest thing that your parents didn't let you do, but it's, like, very normal here? Like, because I feel like my dad was really strict.
He was.
He was really strict, because if it wasn't with Gaby, it's like, because he knows Gaby, she's Habesha, he knows her mom, so they know where we're at. But if it was like, even to just go to a game, he would really be like, who's gonna be there? Is Gaby gonna be there? Like, he was very strict. Yeah. And back then, honestly though, I didn't get it. I was like, why? Why are you being so strict? Like, why aren't you letting me experience things and just find out for myself if it's gonna be good or bad? And he would always tell me, I'm trying to protect you, and I never got it until I went to college my freshman year, and I was by myself, and I was like, I see why. Like, I saw everything that he was trying to protect me from, and I feel like that also disciplined me. Yeah. Because if he didn't, and then I just had that in college, I feel like I would have been a different person today. But because he was protecting me from it, when I went to college and I was exposed to it, I got, like, I knew my boundaries. Like, yeah, I would have fun, but it was like I knew where to draw the line and be like, nah, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So did y'all ever have that experience where it was like, you can't?
I feel like you have one. Go ahead.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
I feel like for me, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say sleepovers. I don't know why. Like, I know that's so, like, dumb, but, like, when you're in middle school, like, everybody's having sleepovers. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting invited here. Everybody's getting invited there. So my mom was very, like, the questions she would ask, she'd be like, I don't know if this is too much to say. What? She'd be like, are there any boys there?
Oh, no, that's normal.
That's a normal question.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even, like, an immigrant thing?
No.
To me, I was like, why are you even
No, it is
like
an
that?
immigrant kid thing.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
Because, like, I feel like Americans, they don't think like that. They're like, oh, yeah, I know Becky's mom. Go ahead. You know what I mean? But my mom, like, she would have to meet the parents, and, like, she was just very strict, and I felt like she was robbing me of my childhood experience. I would always be like, Mom, I'm like, you're ruining my life. Like, I was so dramatic. But I get it, because there's so many crazy things that happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and we as kids, we don't realize that. We just see the fun.
I was never like that. Like, my mom is not strict when it comes to that. She's strict on other things. But when I came here, I lived with my aunt, her mom, for a year.
Your mom wasn't here?
No, she came 6 months later.
I didn't know that.
And then it was like, I saw how she was strict and I was confused. But this country makes you like that. Because I feel like if we were in Ethiopia, they would not be acting like that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
not. They wouldn't.
Yeah, you're right.
But I feel like I was so confused. I'm like, why can we not go somewhere? But now I get it. Like, it makes sense why they're strict and why, you know, they're protected. So shout out to Hayden.
No, like, definitely in Ethiopia, I remember, I don't know if this is a dream. But like I remember my mom would send me to stores. I was like 7 or like 6, you know? She would send me to stores to grab something and like I would come back. Babes, I was 18 here. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. Like sleepovers, there was no questions.
Couldn't even ask.
I couldn't ask. Like it was just a very fine line. Like, you know, like you don't ask. Like, and the thing is, then, like you were saying, like I was like, you're ruining my life. Like, what's going?
It makes sense now, though.
Yeah, like everyone else is having these experiences. Like they're doing all this stuff. Like I would see even like my friends hang out with each other, and they'll always ask me like to come. And it's like sometimes they're like, please ask your mom, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Mute them real quick, like, you know, just like like
you know,
like wait like a couple of minutes and be like, yeah, she said no. Or even sometimes I'd be like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, sorry, like, you know, like this came up.
Yeah, you would have to make up
it's
excuses.
not even I couldn't ask the question of like, oh, can I hang out with them, like, you know. If it's not Habesha, I'm not hanging out with anyone.
But it makes sense for us to see other people do it and for them being normal because this is their country.
That's true.
This is their...
Or like how they're raised. Or like how it is.
Yeah, like, you know, it's just like their parents probably grew up in the country, so they know, like, our parents didn't, so they're scared for us, so they have to protect us from, you know?
But you know what's crazy, though? Like, now I grew up here, so I know how it is. But when my little sister wants to do it, I'm like, no. Like, I'm her parent. I don't want her to go.
Definitely.
And I feel like I'm turning into my parents, but it's because I know what I went through. Yeah. And it's like, like I said, I'm glad my dad has protected me, so I want to protect her too. Yeah. So then she talks to me because she feels closer. She knows I went through it, so she's like, oh, like, can you take me? And I'm like, I feel like I'm being my parent, and I'm like, no, you can't go with me.
Does that make you feel guilty?
It doesn't, because I'm like, you're gonna hate me now, but when you grow up, you're gonna thank me later. Yeah. Because I thank my dad so much now, because I'm like, nah, sometimes I feel bad, but then I'm like, it's okay to miss out, because you have fun at some point, but you just gotta do it.
We're already becoming that.
That's what I was like. I can't believe we're becoming our parents. I'm shocked. Like, but it's for the best. But
it is.
It's always for the best.
No, I started understanding like my mom's point of view when Hasids or like when Christian, like my brother and sister, when they're like, oh, like, can you do this for me? Or Christian sometimes would be like, can you cover this up for me? I'm absolutely not. Like, you know, like,
she's not
he covered for me so many times, but now I'm like, no. Like, you're not missing out. Like, you know, like, say like, I'm not gonna say too much because my mom is watching, but just like, we know. You become the parent, because it's like, now you know, and then
it just
you give them an explanation.
It makes sense.
Okay, now talking about becoming the parent, another struggle came to my mind.
What?
I feel like as immigrant children, we had a childhood. I don't want to complain, but we had to grow up like this.
We did,
because other kids, their parents are never asking them, oh, can you pay this bill for me? Like, not even about the money, but just like to log in and do this or do that. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they got to grow up in a carefree life.
I feel like I had that when I came here, and it was a whole process for us to get our green card and everything. I feel like I quickly turned into a whole different person, because you see the struggle that they go through.
Exactly.
Literally, you're front row, and I can't do anything, but, you know, it's just like, and they're here for me. So in a way, not that makes me feel guilty, but it does put pressure on me to want to become better. And I feel like that's a whole immigrant mindset. It's a whole different mindset that we have. Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, it's a struggle.
But sometimes that just reminded me of something. And I remember I used to tell this to Gaby sometimes, or like a long time ago, I don't know if you remember. But like their struggle, like, okay, how do I say it? Sometimes when I feel like I'm not gonna make it in life, and like I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna struggle. What the first thing that comes to my mind is like, if my dad came from Ethiopia with nothing to a country that he's never been before, like is not even perfect with the language, and can make something out of nothing,
that is so
and
true.
like I feel like we have a good life. We're not the richest people in the world, but it's like he got a house, he got a car, he raised us good. Like, you know what I mean? We never struggled. So I'm like, if he can do it, I can do anything. Definitely. So I feel like their I guess struggles showed us that like we can do it anywhere. If they can do it, we can do it.
Definitely.
Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to you guys.
Yeah.
Even if we make fun you guys and your accent, and we're on Salem Central. Shout out to Salem Central. It's just because we all relate to the same thing, but I feel like we're so grateful because maybe we don't understand it at first, and we can also be ungrateful. But we're so grateful, and we thank you guys.
Yeah. Even like seeing it on Salem Central, you know, when we're like, when your mom does this and that, and we're all like, I saw a comment, somebody was like, do we all like share the same trauma or something like that? And I was like, we do, but it's funny. Like, even though we were like, you know, we're mad about it back then, it's like, we love it.
Yeah, we can all relate to it.
Yeah, we're all a big family. Speaking about trauma, beatings.
Yikes.
I feel like we all went through it.
Oh, you didn't?
A little bit, but not like
From your...
I wasn't terrified of my mom.
Oh my god, I was terrified of my mom. There was this thing that she does. We'd be out of the store, right?
Yeah.
She bites her lips. That means bisingaba.
Oh my gosh.
And that would just terrify me. On the way home, I would just be quiet. And you can't cry. You can't cry.
Waju,
because karaza tababishwalish. And my mom used to always use jama or jwa. Oh, I mean her hands or her shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've experienced my fair share of them.
We all have.
But at the end of the day, like when I look back, I'm like, yeah, for that I did need to get beat.
Really?
Like there's certain things I'm like,
my kids up.
I'm like, yeah, if that was me, I would have done you worse. Like,
wow.
But
How
now,
bad of a kid were you?
no, like it was. Again, it's the fitting in thing. Like, I tried so hard to fit in, like, with the people around me, that I brought that behavior home. And my mom was like,
Nah, girls, you like
this is still Ethiopia in here.
Right.
Like, so it's like, there was, like, none of that, like, at home. And she wanted me to stay so true to myself, like, into, like, my culture and, like, just who I am. She always used to tell me, Nani, stop being two different people. But at the time, I'm like, you don't get me. But now, like, I understand, like, that's what used to get me in trouble a lot. Is when I stepped out of my character to, like, be
culture.
more, you know? But, traumatizing for sure.
Very. But we're still thankful.
Yeah.
Still thankful. Now we're scared.
I know.
But like, what's the things that, or like, why were you trying to assimilate? Or like, how were you trying to assimilate?
Okay, so one thing is my appearance. Like, I really tried to keep up with it, like, really hard. Like, my hair, I, like, forget even Americans.
Look at us with our straight hair.
No, forget even, like Americans, even Ethiopians, they'd be like, what's going on with you? Like, because my hair is, like, not curly. Like, you know, it's not like that. And so it was just, like, when I went to school and my mom, like, every time we had to sit down and do my hair, she would cry. Because it was just so much to do. So I would just go to school, like, however, and I didn't care because I was, like, a little kid. But people, like, the kids around me, be like, "What's going on?" Like, you know, sometimes they won't even hang out. They wouldn't even hang out with me and stuff. And then I remember, shout out to Rahel, I got a perm, and I went to school. Everyone wanted to be my friend.
That's crazy.
And I think I took so much out of that. And I was just like, okay, maybe if I look like them, I have friends. Let me act like them too, like, you know. So one of the things I started doing was the way I talked kind of changed. There was a lot. We remember that. And then like even the way, like, just my attitude, like, I stopped having patience. Like, my mom would tell me do this, do that, I would, like, literally ignore her. And I remember my grandma was here one time, and I love Amaye. And she would tell us, like, can you get this for me? Can you get that for me?
Yeah.
But at that time, I was like, girl, please stop asking me. I'm trying to watch my TV. And I remember my mom was in the garage making food, and my grandma kept calling us, like, me and Christian, and we were just ignoring her. And then my mom walked in, and she heard us ignoring her. And she was just like, are you kidding me right now? There was no conversation. She just beat us. She was just like, don't ever disrespect my mom. Like, she just like, don't do this. She's like, like, that's something I would hear all the time. Like, you know, like, I didn't raise you like this. You didn't get this from me or from your dad.
Yeah.
And so just my attitude changed. I stopped being more respectful because I saw, like, respect as a weakness. Because when I was, like, respectful, they're just like, you little fob. Like, you know?
Like, people took your kindness and, like, for weakness. Literally. They would either take advantage of you or they would look down on you.
I remember there was one time, first of all, came from Ethiopia, and I was top of the top of my class. Like, I was doing
there or here?
Here, when I came here. And I remember there were these two girls, like, my best friends. And I took my reading test. I got 100. And it was, like, supposed to be our Christmas party, last day of school. And then they're like, oh, can you give us the answers? Because they didn't read their book. And so I just ended up giving them the answer because I felt, like, bad. And then the teacher was just like, come here real quick. What's going on? And he was like, what's happening? And then they both were like, yeah, she cheated off of us. And then I remember I was like, no, I didn't. No. And they were like, and I remember having silent lunch that day. I wasn't allowed to, like, be a part of the group. And, like, that teacher, though, he knew me and he knew my family. And he was just like, you need to find better friends. Like, surround yourself with better people. So definitely they took your kindness for weakness. That's why I had to, like, snip it, like, right there. But
I feel like when you want to be like someone, you end up, you know, going the wrong path.
Definitely.
Because you're not being yourself, and them being them is not who you are. So that's just going to take you on a wrong thing. And I feel like that's kind of the problem with being from a different country, living in America. Because you want to be like them.
Definitely.
But that's not you.
You have to assimilate.
But that's not who you are.
But it's also, imagine you're, like, a teenager trying to figure out who you are. You know what I mean? So you have all these different voices. Like, you're like, you don't even know who you are. So you're looking at other people to figure out, like, your identity, if that makes sense. So, like, I feel like in general, like, not even being an immigrant, in general, you're already struggling as a teenager. And then adding on the fact that you're an immigrant, it's like...
It's just like you're someone at home and then you're a whole different person outside.
1,000%. Yeah. And you have to be, like, you had to keep up that front. Like, and one thing those meetings did teach me wasn't don't be two different people, was keep them separate. Like, you know, like, you had, at a certain point you learned, like, okay, with them I'm this way, and then with them I'm this way.
When I first moved, like, high school, like, when I met Gaby and them, I feel like I was too Habesha for them. And they were like... Shut up. But I really was too Habesha for them. Like, I would, like, drink shy, eat injera so much, and they're like, you're weird. You know? And they're always eating cereal. I'm like, dang.
Why did you expose them?
Sorry, I mean, not cereal. Steak. But you know what I mean? It was just too Habesha for them. But because they were Habeshas, I didn't care. Because at the end of the day, like, they know me. Like, they know the culture, so I didn't care. So I think I got used to being comfortable with being too Habesha. So I never felt like I was too Habesha for anyone.
That's beautiful.
Remember?
Oh my!
I just remembered
Say it. Hermella did not know what a bagel was. I don't know why.
No, because no.
It's okay.
I knew a bagel. Like, I just thought it was a regular bread. And she was like, "Do you want?" I went to sleep over at their house, and she was like, "Do you want a bagel?" And I was like, "What is a bagel?" And she was like, "I was like, a bread." I was like, "It's a bread." Like, it's just certain things like that. I do feel like I don't know what you're talking about.
Small things like that.
But I've learned to be comfortable to say, because I used to lie and be like, yeah. Now I'm like, I don't know what that is.
That's
or
good.
That is so true. That is a problem.
Yeah, or even with my accent, I would have days where it just comes out. Back in the day, I used to want to hide when my accent comes out.
That's me now.
Like, I used to want to cry. Because it's like, everybody's like, oh, you said this, ha 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 ha. And it's like, it's funny, like, I'll laugh it off. But when I go home, I cry. I don't.
Because it just makes you different. It makes you feel like you're different.
It actually makes me feel like, ugh. And then I'm trying to, like, I literally go on Google and try to, like, say and stuff like that. Because I was like, I don't want people to make fun of me. Like, but now it's just like, it comes out and somebody says something, I'm like, I'm foreign. Like, even at work, I am, and I'm proud about it.
Yeah,
like,
now
when they
it's
say,
like,
what was that? I'll repeat it. I'm like, oh, sorry, my accent came out. I was like, I'm foreign, I'm not from here. So, like, I'm, like, proud that I'm not from here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've learned to get there because I didn't start off like that, but
Yeah.
I just want to say,
How did you get to that point? Because that's me. I can't. I want to hide.
Because that's you. You can't change yourself, Sara. Like,
and
I mean, you can, but you can't.
And that's my thing with like meeting new people. I'm so like soft-spoken because I'm like, I don't want to show too much because then my accent will come out. But it's like at a certain point it will.
That's what makes you you, though.
That's what
makes
saying.
If you guys take
Accent's not a bad
classes,
thing.
if you have classes about losing accents, please.
No, that's so sad. I feel like you're losing a part of you if you lose your accent.
No, but I don't even know which accent I have. But I think it's more Habesha, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's Italian.
No, I don't know. You just have to embrace it.
I
Because I feel like that's at some point when it started to make me like now I want to be who I am. And my dad is so serious about like being you.
Yeah.
Like he's so serious about that. He's
Confidence.
like, you're Ethiopian, like be confident in who you are. And so he always tells us that. So it's like I used to struggle. It's just like I don't know what to do. So then I just had to come to the point where it's like I can't change it. Like that's me. I love being Ethiopian.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna change that. So it's just like I'm just gonna embrace it. Like either you're gonna like it or not.
I feel like that just goes back to trying to assimilate to this country and the people here. So I feel like that's what I'm struggling with.
But America is a country for immigrants.
That's
There's
so
a lot of
true.
people with different cultures. Like, especially working, has shown me like it's so many types of people. And then like when people come and they don't speak English, I'm like, I got you, bro. Like, because I try to like help them because it's like we're all different in this country. You know what I mean? So it's just like. Everybody's different anyway, so might as well just be myself and be different.
Definitely.
You know.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I feel like I'm about to be off topic. So.
There's this one thing I heard someone say. They're like, if you pretend to be a different person in the beginning, then this was more towards relationship, but like you can get it into friendships too. If you pretend to be someone in the beginning, later on you're gonna have to keep up that act because that person loved who you were instead of who you actually are. So it's like it's good to be yourself from the start, and then it's like take it or leave it. Like, you know, like either love me or you don't. Like my advice is like be who God has made you to be. Like your identity is not found in being Habesha or like an immigrant. Your identity is not found in like your like grades or like what your parents expect of you, what Americans or like whatever country you're in expects of you. Your identity is in like in who God says that you are. And like when I found that, I found peace. So like
you'll never find peace if you keep going around like this.
Yeah, because it's like, and it's so like when I tell you, it was so much work. Like I put more work into that than my actual schoolwork. Like it was full-time job.
And let us be your big sisters, please. We've been through it. We've seen it all.
We have.
Maybe not all, but like.
A lot.
We've
already.
learned like you're
You're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, it's temporary. It's temporary. Like it goes. You'll forget
you think it's like the end of the world in that moment. You think your parents are ruining your life, but if anything, they're protecting your life.
Definitely.
I would say you'll miss out on your future if anything. So just stop right there and just listen.
Even advice to the parents that are listening too.
That's
mother.
The community is like you're not only raised by your parents sometimes.
Definitely.
You're also raised by the community.
Yeah.
Because there's eyes everywhere. Everyone is looking at you, and everything will go back to your parents.
Yeah.
If you're Habesha.
Speaking from experience. I don't know if I should speak in Amharic, but I think I'll just keep it in English. But I think I'm gonna speak for the Ethiopian community because I don't know if the other community, but mental health. I feel like it's a whole different topic that we should talk about in this podcast, like a separate one. But I think it's so important because we, as parents, of course, you guys want us to have a good education and everything, but sometimes that takes a lot on us.
Definitely.
But we don't want to speak on it because we're scared. Maybe it's like, oh no, they're here for us. We have that mentality of they're here for us. We have to finish, and then that just takes a lot, I feel like, you know? And I think just speaking to your kids and talking to them, and even the kids speaking to them, be like, hey, like, I think it's a lot. Take a break. Like, I'm not saying quit school. No, finish school. Absolutely. We need to finish school, and I think that's so important, but your mental health is way more important. And so I think something that the community in general needs to talk about it at church, like everywhere. I think that should be a topic because sadly we've seen people, you know, pass away over things like this, like stress, and I think it's a big topic that needs to be spoken about. So that's my advice.
I feel like going off that, Habesha parents don't know exactly how to communicate. Like sometimes I feel like they know how to talk at us, but not to us and with us. You know what I mean? So I think like genuinely having open conversation, like, of course, like you are our elder, like we respect you as our parents. Yeah. We honor you. But sometimes there's like a barrier. Like I feel like for me and my mom, like you were saying, like I feel like we have honestly a friendship, and I do see her, my mom, of course, but sometimes I see her as a friend, which might be a bad thing because it's like I might not talk to her like I'm my mother, but like I feel like if I'm really going through something, I can tell her. But there's some parent and child dynamic where it's not like that. And they feel like their Habesha mom or dad is just so unrelatable or whatever that they can't speak to them. And that child is suffering on their own, you know, and can't like express themselves. So I feel like just having like open communication is important.
Mental health, it's so important, and I didn't know it until, and I don't think my mom noticed it. I was applying for college, and she was like, she kept asking me all these questions, literally like had a panic attack like right in front of her, and then I get this, like she did not know what to do with that. And I feel like they go through it too. It's just they have their own trauma, like, you know, they have their own like mental health. They just don't know what it is, how to label it, you know. So it's like also understanding them, but then having them understand us. So it's like a two-way street. Like,
I feel like same thing, just one quick thing. I had the same thing, but sometimes they don't know how to ask, or they don't know what's going on in your head. So my step was talking to my mom, and the reaction she gave me honestly was like
helpful.
She actually listened, understood, and I was shook because all I had to do on my part was just talk to her. And it was so like, it helps, because I feel like sometimes parents are like, if they don't understand, they'll be like, just pray on it, which absolutely prayers work, and you have to pray, because talking to someone is not just gonna help. Prayers work. But the fact that she listens to me and she's like, I understand what you're going through, or maybe I don't understand what you're going through, but what can I do to help? Or like, don't stay in your room, come, let's talk, like let's go on a walk. That helps so much. And I feel like every parent should do that, or just ask, maybe just ask, or as a child go and be like, hey, I need help, or hey, like just
those relationships need work too. And I think
absolutely,
like we were talking about in our last podcast, like friendships, like you like work on what you really want. And I feel like just because there are parents doesn't mean we're not supposed to work on that relationship too. True. Like any good relationship needs work. Even if that means that you as the kid are putting more than they are, because they don't know as much as you know. So like, yeah, it sucks, but like it's up to you. Like if you really want that relationship, you have to break that cycle, and you can't just wait until you have your own kids. Like you need to help your parents out, because they've literally raised us. They like helped us in the best way they can, and they're doing what they know.
Try to embrace your culture as much as you can. Try to understand your parents as much, and build that relationship so that things are easier for you, and there's understanding both ways, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Next time we'll do an Amariña for the parents, especially the mental health, because I think that's a big thing. But if you guys have anything that you guys want to ask us, let us know on our Instagram or down in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. We know this was a longer one, but this is for the culture. So like, you know, like just listen. Just listen.
So make sure you guys watch on YouTube and listen on Spotify and Apple Music / Apple Podcast every Wednesday.
Yes, and follow us on our TikTok account at For the Culture Podcast _ and then on our Instagram For the Culture Podcast _ everything is in the description below.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching.
And I just want to say I love you, Mom. Okay, sorry.
I love you too.
I love you, Yano, and I love you.
Thank you for everything.
I love you, Ababo. Let me entertain them while we're just taking a break.